This is Automation Haven. 1 year of work. Conveyor belts, machines, contracts, a research tree, power systems, world generation, a fully featured automation game, or at least that was the plan. I haven't opened it in 2 years.
Abandoning it was the best possible decision I've ever made as a developer, because I finally understood something that took me a year of building to learn. A dream game with no core isn't a project, it's a wishlist, and wishlists, they don't ship.
The game I actually finished and released on Steam, that one started as a failed game jam entry I never submitted.
So if you're working on your dream game right now, the big one, the one you've been thinking about for years, this video might be the most uncomfortable thing you watch this week. Here's the thing about dream games. You've been thinking about yours for years. Maybe it started as a feeling, a game you couldn't actually find, or you thought that I could probably make a better game than this. And that passion is real, but it's also the exact thing that makes it so dangerous to build your dream games first.
When I started Automation Haven, the vision was simple. Automation mechanics with conveyor belts, machines and various resources. Something in the spirit of Factorio or Satisfactory. That was the dream, and it was a good one.
The problem was that an automation game is just a direction, not a core. A direction without a constraint is just an open door.
So the ideas started coming in. Contracts with companies you sell products to. A research tree with new machines and product categories. Random events, think real world that disrupt your factory. Power systems, all of them. Wind, solar, nuclear. Reputation mechanics with price fluctuations. AI competitors building their own factories. Pollution from machines. Liquid nodes. Land expansion for infinite building. Procedural world generation for the replayability.
None of those ideas were actually bad by themselves. In a real, finished and polished automation game with a real budget and a real team, most of those features would be great. But as you might suspect, I'm not a team. I'm just one person trying to build his first game, with no real answer to the question, what is this game actually about?
When you love an idea enough, every feature feels essential, because in your head, you're not building a game, you're building the game, the complete version, the one you've always wanted to play.
And that means you have no filter. Every new idea goes in, because what's the reason to leave it out? It fits the genre, it fits the vision, and it sounds cool. So in it goes.
A core is the sentence that rules things out, like, this game is about building efficient systems under resource pressure. That sentence tells you random Christmas events don't belong, it tells you AI competitors are optional, not essential, and it gives you something to measure every new idea against.
Automation Haven never had that sentence, so it had everything. And a game that has everything is literally impossible to finish, because the work never ends. There's always one more feature that belongs, or one more system that's needed to make the game feel complete.
A year in, Automation Haven had no answer to the question every player would ask in the first 5 minutes. What am I actually supposed to be doing here?
And that's the real reason dream games fail. It's not missing skills or time, it's usually that you love them too much to be able to give them a spine. And a game without a spine is just a wishlist waiting to grow. So how does that look when you open your IDE every morning?
I reworked the machine inventory system 3 or 4 times. I was learning, sure, but I was improving. Each version was genuinely better than the last.
The problem was that better kept meaning something different, because what the machines were supposed to do kept changing.
The first version made sense for a simple automation game. Then contracts came in, and machines needed to track orders. Then the research tree came in, and machines needed upgrade states. Then power came in, and machines needed to consume and respond to energy. Every new feature that got added to the design doc meant the foundation underneath it needed to drastically change.
You weren't doing the work you already did. Every rework cost me time, but more than that, it cost me confidence, because you start to wonder, if I finish this system today, how long will it take for me to have to remake it again?
My power system was the clearest example of this. wind, solar and nuclear, all of it planned from the start. But the underlying logic of how power moved through the factory, how machines consumed it, how shortages would affect production, that never had a stable answer, because the game around it never had a stable answer. So I built a version, realized it didn't account for something new, and then start again.
At some point I was spending more time maintaining systems than actually building the game, which might sound like a technical problem, but really it wasn't. It was a design problem in a technical disguise.
From the outside, Automation Haven looked like progress. Assets were purchased, a bunch of UI was built, conveyor belts was moving everywhere and machines were processing. But underneath that, a codebase that reflected the exact same chaos as the design doc. Just layers of systems built on top of other systems that were themselves waiting to be reworked.
And this is the part I want developers to really hear, because it's usually described as a skill problem. You need to learn better architecture or you need to plan more upfront. And yeah, I did learn architecture better eventually, and I did plan more too, but it wasn't the root cause.
The root cause was that I was building systems to serve a game that didn't have a clear answer to what it was trying to be. When your core is undefined, your systems have nothing stable to serve. So they shift every time the vision shifts.
A codebase is basically just a reflection of your design decision. If your design decisions are constantly changing because you have no idea what actually belongs in the game, your code will show it every time.
By the time I stepped away from Automation Haven, I had a year of work, a lot of learned skills, and a codebase I didn't want to open anymore, because I had no idea what I was salvaging it for.
By the time I'd been working on Automation Haven for about a year, I was exhausted. The vision was blurred and the codebase was a mess I didn't want to touch. So I did what most developers would do in that scenario. I took a break.
And the Brackeys Game Jam happened to be running, 1 week with a defined theme and a deadline. I joined it as a way to step away from Automation Haven for a bit. Build something small, something contained, something with an actual endpoint.
My idea was a low-poly horror set in a house. And for the first time in a long time, the scope was just obvious. 1 player, 1 house, in just 1 week. The deadline decided what belonged for me.
And it felt different immediately. Every decision had a filter. Does this fit into a 1-week jam? No? Then it's gone. That's it. That was the entire design process.
But nearing the end of the week, it was clear I wasn't going to be able to get to the finish in time. The horror game wasn't submittable. Not in the state it was in. So I had 2 options. Rush something broken out of the door, or don't submit at all.
And I didn't submit. But I also didn't go back to Automation Haven.
Because something had shifted during that week. I'd been listening to Chris Zuskowski and CodeMonkey talk about what actually sells on Steam, what players look for, and what genre can give solo devs a real shot. And horror kept coming up. It was a low barrier to entry on the asset side, it had a strong existing audience, it was easier to scope than most other games, and I already had a game that kind of worked and looked a little bit like a horror game.
So I pivoted, but I kept the same core concept with rituals, exploration, a monster and items to interact with. But I pushed it towards something more realistic, with 2 areas, a factory and a mine, a monster chasing you, and a beginning and an end. The jam scope stayed, and the deadline didn't.
X of Steel didn't succeed because I was working harder or that I finally got disciplined, because a 1-week game jam gave me something that Automation Haven never had from the start. A core I couldn't argue with.
The jam was supposed to be a week off. Instead it became the foundation of the only game I've actually shipped on Steam.
And somewhere in the first few days of the jam, without really noticing it, I'd stopped asking what could this game be and instead started asking what does this game need to be. So I had a core, a specific containable answer to what the game actually is. 2 areas with monsters where you perform rituals and then escape. But what happened next was something I never really expected.
Building felt different, like cleaner somehow. Every decision had somewhere to go.
The skills I'd built during Automation Haven transferred completely. The UI was better and the architecture was actually scalable. A year of learning through the messiest project possible, and it all came with me. Those skills finally had a stable ground to build on.
In Automation Haven, every system I built was temporary, always waiting to be reworked when the vision shifted again. In Echo of Steel, I built a system once.
I didn't rework core systems 3 or 4 times. I built them, tested them, and then moved forward, because I knew what I was building for.
3 to 4 months of development, then 2 to 3 months of marketing, then release on Steam. That timeline would have been unthinkable with Automation Haven, but because focused work compounds in a way that scattered work never does, every week built on the last one. Nothing was getting undone.
And I want to be honest about something here. Echo of Steel isn't my perfect game. It isn't my magnus opus, but it exists. It's on Steam, and people have actually played it. And Automation Haven, with all its systems, features and all its ambition, is still just a folder on my hard drive with a last modified date 2 years ago. Automation Haven taught me everything I needed to build Echo of Steel. The irony is, it could only do that by failing, by showing me what happens when you build without a foundation, so that when I do have one, I knew how to use it.
One of these games are finished, and the other one taught me how to finish.
So how do you know if your dream game has a core, or if you're building a very elaborate wish list? I'm not going to tell you to abandon your dream game, that's not really the point of this video, but I am going to give you the questions I wish I had 12 months before I walked away from Automation Haven.
The first question is the most important one. Can you describe your game in one sentence, and does that sentence rule things out?
A real core sentence cuts. Like, this game is about building efficient systems under resource pressure. That sentence alone tells you that Christmas events don't belong, AI competitors are optional, and it gives you something to measure against with every new feature idea in the future.
If your sentence includes everything, it's not a core, it's still just a direction.
When you get a new feature idea, what happens? If your honest answer is I add it to the list, then that's a sign your project doesn't really have a filter.
A project with a real core makes new ideas uncomfortable. You have to justify them. You have to prove they serve the thing the game is actually about. If every idea fits, nothing is being filtered, and if nothing is being filtered, the scope only ever grows. This was Automation Haven at month 6. Every idea is still in. The list longer than it was at month 1. That's not a project gaining momentum, that's a project losing direction.
Third question. Are you building the game, or are you building the idea of the game? Because there's a difference.
Building the game means making decisions that close doors. Committing to a mechanic even though another one might be better. Shipping a system even though you could rework it. Accepting that the finished version will be smaller than the imagined version.
Building the idea of the game means keeping every door open. Reworking systems because the vision shifted again. Adding features because they fit the genre. Staying in the planning phase because the planning phase never really ends. And the fourth question, the one that actually pushed me into the jam in the first place. When did you last actually finish something? Something with a beginning, middle and end. Something that a person could sit down and play through completely. If the answer is not recently or never with this project, that's worth paying attention to, because finishing is a skill, and you can't practice it with a project that wasn't designed with an end.
The Game Jam gave me a forced answer to all 4 of these questions. One sentence core is a horror game about rituals and escape. A filter, does it fit in the time I have? Closed doors, no pivoting midweek. A finish line, which was the submission deadline. I didn't choose that discipline. The discipline was handed to me by the constraints of the format.
You don't have to wait for a game jam to impose those constraints. You can build them on your own, right now, on whatever project you're working on.
Pick a vertical slice, the smallest version of your game, that a person could actually play from start to finish. Define it, scope it and finish it. Not the full game. Not even close. Just a playable and completable core.
If you can't define that vertical slice, that's your answer. The project doesn't have a core yet, and no amount of features can create one.
Your dream game doesn't have to actually die. But it does have to wait until you can answer those 4 questions honestly, until you can draw that vertical slice and commit to it, until the project has a spine. Because a dream game you never finish isn't a game, it's just a dream.
I still think about Automation Haven sometimes, and honestly, I don't regret a single hour I put into it.
It taught me how to code, how to build systems, how to think like a developer. But more than anything, it taught me what a project looks like when it has no core. Your dream game might be worth building, but it's worth building right. Go answer the 4 questions, find your vertical slice, and give your game a spine.
And if you can't, maybe it's time to take a break. Build something small, and you'll probably be surprised what comes out of it.